Yes, hi. Good evening to everyone. Today we discussed about that so many things, right? And spring related things, spring models we have discussed, right? In the part of the spring model, I am today discussing Spring Web MVC and Spring REST API and Spring Data JPA. These things I am discussing now. Okay, just I am giving sample this class, I will give in, it is, for example, Spring REST is there, right? The Spring REST API, we can create, how we can create a Spring REST API, all those things I will clarify in the later on class. It's the one model has a one separate thing, right? How I can say, it is that one model has a one subject in the form of me. Okay, so that's the reason. Just I am explaining you and basic things I am explaining here. Okay, Spring Web MVC. What is Spring Web MVC? This Spring Web MVC to develop both web and distributed application. Web and distributed application, that is web services. Okay, that is web services application we can implement by using the Spring Web MVC. And here it is used to simplify web layer development in application. This web related thing, it will simplify by using the Spring Web MVC, isn't it? Here, what is that? What does it mean for Spring Web MVC? Spring Web MVC is the develop both, both web and distributed application. Distributed application, nothing but is the web services. And here it is used to simplify web layers development application, isn't it? Well, next is what is the Spring REST API? REST API or Spring REST, whatever it is. Okay, what does it mean? To simplify the REST API development. To simplify the REST API development by using the Spring REST API. By using the Spring REST API, what will do? It will do, it is simplify the REST API development. Okay, and what is the Spring Data JPA? What is the Spring Data JPA? Spring Data JPA, it is extension for Spring ORM. Okay, yesterday we had discussed Spring ORM, right? Spring ORM has a, inside that has a Hibernate. That Hibernate has so many steps to implement that object, right? So instead of you are using the Spring ORM, you can use a Spring Data JPA. This Spring Data JPA, it will providing a ready-made method to perform the CRUD operations in the DB. Okay. What does the ready-made method? The ready-made method is the CRUD and then JPA repository. CRUD is a enter class and JPA repository is also called class, and CRUD has so many methods: save all, get by ID, delete by ID. These are the methods to implement. But by using the JPA repository, you can implement both CRUD repository, query by example, and sorting, okay, and paginations. These things you will implement by using the data JPA. Instead of you are using the monolith, I can say it will reduce the boilerplate of code by using the Spring Data JPA, isn't it? Next, what is Spring security? What is Spring security? Here, Spring security is used to secure our Spring-based application. What will do? By using the Spring security, you will secure Spring-based application. You will secure Spring-based application. We can implement both authentication and authorization by using the Spring security. Okay, by using the Spring security, what will do? We can implement both authentication and authorization. What does mean authentication? Authentication is to decide who can access our application. What is that meaning of authentication? Authentication is nothing but decide who can access our application. And authorization. What does mean of authorization? Authorization is nothing but it's the identified logged user having access for that functionality or not. If having a functionality means he is a authorized user. If does not have any access for the functionality is unauthorized user. We can discuss. We can we can decide by using authorization by using the authorization. If he has authorized, if he has a having access for functionality for that method or for that class or for that application, that person is called authorized user. Okay, these are the very important in Spring Security authentication and authorization, isn't it? What is authentication? Authentication decide who can access our application. Authorization identify logged in user having access for that functionality or not. That's it. Okay. That's all about the Spring Security. I will use that example as well, and I will implement what Spring Security JWT or Auth 2.0. These things I will implement in our application. Okay, later on class. Coming class. And what is the Spring Batch? This Spring Batch is also one of the Spring module. Spring module. It will batch is means what? Batch is means for the bulk operation. Bulk operation. What purpose we can implement that bulk operation to sending the bulk email to the customers for that account status or for that statement for that account holder. Okay, isn't it? Sending bulk SMS to the student for regarding course updates or regarding their fees details in application in college. Okay, and regarding the bank statement for the account holder, and record from files and store in DB, and read record from DB to it will store in the file address. Okay, that also is come under the Spring Batch, isn't it? Spring Batch. Huh. That's about the Spring Batch. What is the Spring Cloud? This Spring Cloud is also one of the module in Spring Batch. Oh, sorry, Spring Framework that has to be. What does mean the Spring Framework? Spring Framework has a collection of collection of framework that is called Spring Framework. That it will communicate. It that has so many modules, right? First has a 7 modules and 1 point version and 2 point version that has a 6 modules and third version that is a 20 plus modules. Like that they have divided. Okay, and here is the Spring Cloud is also one of the module. It is to provide the configuration required for the microservices development. What will provide? The Spring Cloud, it will provide the configuration for microservices development. Configuration for microservices. What is the configuration like service registry, admin server, API gateway, isn't it? Uh, and config server, config server as well, and Redis server. Okay, Zipkin server. These are the comes under the Spring Cloud. Okay, yeah, that's all about the Spring Cloud. This is the Spring Core, one of the core module. One of the core module they have. This is a Spring Core. What is the Spring Core? Spring Core is a it is a base module of the Spring framework. It is a base module. I can say Spring Core is a base module of the Spring framework. It is providing the IOC and DI. IOC and DI. What is that mean of IOC and DI? IOC is the inversion of control, and DI is the dependency injection. Okay, IOC will perform that object, and it will IOC is the container, and it perform the DI. Okay, and it will provide as a Spring Bean, isn't it? Here, by using the IOC and DI are used to develop a classes with loosely coupled. By using the IOC and DI, what will develop? We can develop loosely coupled classes. We can develop loosely coupled classes. And I am given that one example as well. One example here, public class, Indian class I implemented, and public int start method I implemented and written one means it is a true. And another class, public class car extend that engine, car extend to the engine and provide that the public void it is the try method is there. Int status is equal to super dot start. And if status is equal to greater than 0, it will the journey has to be started. Journey has to be started, else journey start to be journey engine trouble. What is engine has to be trouble? Okay, if it is greater than 1. And here another thing, I created one main class and car C is equal to new car created that object and C dot try method. I am calling try method. What will print? Journey has to be started. Here, car is extend that engine class, right? And car class can't be used inheritance in the future because of any changes in the engine class will affect on the car class as well. Any changes has to be made in the engine class. What will happen? The car class also it will affect. The car class is tightly coupled with engine class. Car class is tightly coupled with engine class. Here note, I am providing note inside that note here. It is not recommended to develop the class with tightly coupled. Isn't it? We are not recommending to develop that classes with the tightly coupled. That's the reason they have provided so many things in public class car and public wide drive method is there. Engine is equal to new engine. I created one object as well. Int status is equal to engine dot start method has to be called here. Start method is there, right? If statement here, if status is greater than 1, what will happen? It will print. It will print as a journey has to be started. Journey has to be started, or else it is journey has to be troubled, or engine has to be troubled. Okay. If it is not greater than 1, it is not greater than 1. It will print this one. If it is greater than 1, it will print this one. Okay. Okay. Here, what is that? Here, car is directly creating the object for the engine. Here, directly creating that object for that engine. And any changes to be changed in the engine class will affect on the car class. If we made any changes in engine class, that effect will be happen in where? That is the car class, right? The car class is always talking to only one engine. Okay. If I want to change that from one engine to another engine, then we should be modify the car class code as per the requirement. Okay. Here note, car is the tightly coupled with engine class. The year also tightly coupled with engine class as well. Okay. Here one, I have a question. What is the dependency injection? What is the dependency injection? DI, we discussed DI as well. The dependency injection is nothing but the process of injecting dependent object into target object using target variable or setter method or constructor method as a dependency injection. What is that process? What is that dependency injection? Dependency injection is the process of injecting dependent object to the target object using target variable or setters method or constructor method is called as a dependency injection. Dependency injection types. Do you know dependency injection types? I explained here variable or field, setter method, or constructor method. Okay, these are the dependency injection types. Dependency injection types. Okay, and here, here, here requirement we have requirement. I am taking one requirement as well. Develop an application to perform bill payment. We can develop an application. It will perform what? It will perform bill payment. It should be support for multiple payment options like debit card or credit card or Sodexo or MX UPI, whatever it is, it will create that one. What will happen when we perform both constructor and setter injection as a same variable? Here, what if we implemented one class? What is that? One class. That class we have using dependence injection both setter method and constructor method. What will happen? First, the constructor injection will happen, and then it will reinstate the same variable. Then setter injection will happen, and it will reinstate the same variable. So final value setter injection will be happen. Okay. Did you got my point? Did you got my point? Here, first of all, constructor injection will happen, and it will initialize the object. And that same object setter injection also happen. It is basically reinitialize existing constructor element. Okay, isn't it? The same variable. So final value, what? Final value is the setter injection value is there. Here, what is that note here? Note that here setter injection will over the constructor injection. Setter injection, what will do? Setter injection is over the constructor injection. Okay. And what is IOC container? So IOC container is transfer inversion of control. Inversion of control. IOC is the principle of which is used to manage and collaborate dependencies among the objects in application. That is called IOC control. IOC. That is the IOC. IOC is the but it is the principle which is used to manage and collaborate dependencies among the object in the application. Okay. In Spring, IOC is responsible to for dependency injection. In Spring, what? In the Spring, IOC is responsible for dependency injection. Here, what we are providing? Here we are providing two things. Okay, we are providing input. We will give as a Java class with configuration. That configuration may be XML or annotation. We can provide with dependency injection. So output then IOC will perform the DI. What will do IOC? IOC will perform on DI and it will produce the Spring Bean. Okay, what is that Spring Bean? What is the Spring? Spring Bean is nothing but the class. It is a class which is managed by IOC is called Spring Bean. Okay, Spring Bean is nothing but it is a class. It is a class. Okay. It is a class which is managed by IOC. That is called Spring Bean. Okay, isn't it? Here, how start the IOC container? How we will start the IOC container? IOC container start by using two ways. Okay, by using two ways. One way is the bean factory. Another way application context. Bean factory is nowadays what happened? Bean factory is nowadays it is a deprecated. That's the reason it is a outdated concept. So here we will using the application context. Application context is the recommended one. Here XML configuration we can create by using this statement. This statement application context is equal to new class path XML application context. New class path application context. Here pass the XML file. Okay, how we can get that bean by using the context dot get bean? We can get that bean. Okay, we can get that bean. Here creating of that project by using the Spring project. Okay. If you are using STS, you can open that STS ID and create on that Maven project. Okay, and create on that Maven project. You will add the below dependency, that is what ORG Spring framework and is the Spring context is there. Okay, this dependency you can use. After after adding a dependency, verify project in the Maven dependencies folder. Okay, the jar should be displayed. You can open that folder and jar should be displayed. Create a required Java classes and create bean configuration like this one. Create bean configuration. This one we can create. Okay, and here like this you can create that XML version and 1.0 encoding is UFT8 and bean stacks is there. Inside the bean stacks you can create bean. You can create bean ID. Okay, this bean ID, this ID may be credit card or debit card or UPI or net banking, whatever it is, AVEX card, whatever it is, that ID. But class should be your package name. You will base package name. You will mention here. Class should be base package name with extension of the current package name. Okay, like this you can create. Here constructor argument or constructor auto wiring. What is that? Here I am the dependency injection. I am doing here. What is the constructor? Constructor injection I am doing constructor injection. Okay, setter injection. It is a property type we can mention, but constructor arguments it is a constructor injection. And here ref ID is the it will main component to which object you need to inject. If I mention here ref is equal to credit means I am credit object is injecting. If I am mentioning that ID is equal to debit, here ref is equal to debit means this object I am this bin ID is I am injecting. If I am giving this payment, this bin I am injecting like that. It will ref ID is mentioned or maintain. It is which ref ID is the declare. Okay, it is declare which ID you should inject. It will indicate. Okay, and that in the and test that one whatever it is created. IOC container steps 5. This step 5 is implemented here. Step 1 is a create open that STS and step up to step 5 create the statement and what will happen you can check there. Okay, and constructor injection is here. I am explained right. Constructor arg equal to constructor arg name equal to payment means payment is there name and ref is equal to credit. That credit is I am injecting credit by using the constructor arg constructor injection I am doing here. If you need to setter injection, you can use property name. Okay, property name equal to payment and ref here debit. What will doing debit ref is equal to debit means it is injecting by using the debit ID bean ID. Okay, here ref attribute represent which object should be injected. I am explaining right that one only. And here the Spring Bean scope is there. Okay, what is that Spring Bean scope? Spring Bean scope is nothing but that Bean scope will be decide how many objects should be created in the Spring Bean class by the Bean scope. What is that? By using the Bean scope, it will decide how many objects should be created in Spring Bean class. How many ways? 4 ways we can create. One way singleton, second way prototype, third way request, and fourth way session. Singleton is the default Spring Bean scope. It is a default Spring Bean scope. Okay. Here these things I will discuss in the later on class. Okay, these things I will discuss in the later on class. And singleton means only one object should be created. the global entire application. It will maintain only single object. That's the reason, that purpose we can create that singleton scope. Prototype means every time new object will be created. Every time new object will be created. Okay. These things I am explained tomorrow in class. Today that's it. Today we have learned Spring Web MVC, Spring REST API, and Spring Data JPA, Spring Security here. Okay. You are instead of using here Spring Data JPA, instead of you are using Spring ORM, it is the boilerplate code you have to be generated if you are using this one. If you are not using this one, instead of using this one, you can use Spring Data JPA. It will provide the readymade methods to perform that CRUD operations. Okay, it will reduce the boilerplate code in your Java application. Okay, Spring Security is also one of the top module in Spring, and Spring Batch for night server you need to run by using the Spring Batch as well, isn't it? And this is the one of that. It's the configuration for microservices purpose. We can use Spring Cloud, isn't it? And Spring, what is the Spring Core? Okay, I given that example as well, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah, and what is that? What is that IOC container, and what is the all those things we discussed, right? What is that IOC container? How to start that IOC container? Isn't it? Okay. Well, that's all about it today. Uh, Tomorrow we will discuss that in depth at single Spring Bean scopes related thing we can discuss. Okay. That's it today class. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me grow and bring more awesome content for you. Hit the bell icon so you will never miss an update when I updated in the YouTube channel. Let me know if you have any thoughts in the comment below. I love hearing from you. Thank you for your support. Signing off today class.